Welcome to another exciting edition of the show that is not a show. It's the Weekly Pint. I just realized I probably forgot to change the title from whatever it said last week. I swear, one of these weeks I will actually get this all right, and I'll figure out I'll figure out what I'm doing. Let's see what it says. So this show is, I mean, most of you guys are frequent listeners of the Weekly Pint. Yeah. So ignore the description of this week's video. You guys understand what this show is about because you're frequent listeners. We hang out, we have a beer together, and just kind of shoot the shit. Sometimes we talk about the local beer scene, the latest news and the latest happenings. Sometimes we talk about just life and the chaos that it brings with it. So it can go in any direction. The point is for all of us to hang out together and have a conversation together. It's like a virtual happy hour. To facilitate that virtual happy hour-ness, if that's, I don't know if that's a word, but if it is, we have the drunk line. You can call in 567-70-DRINK, and you can take part in the conversation that way. Or, as you guys are all starting to see, no matter where you're listening, you can jump on the chat and chat with each other. That's probably the easier way for you to do it. So, regardless of where you are, you can take part in this show. That is not a show. Let's see. Everybody let me know what you're drinking. Marco is on his way to go food and truth, of course. Julia says she's fighting a headache. Was drinking some liquid IV to keep the hydration levels up. Did enjoy some of Westside's smoked Pilsner earlier, though. Yeah, I heard they were coming out with the smoked Pilsner, and I haven't got to try it yet. However, kind of on that same theme, I figured I would drink my very last Westside Rausch beer. I'm loving this beer. Loving the fact that we've got smoked beers available to us recently. I don't know if this is still available around town. I'm sure some of the places that don't do as much volume might still have some. So smoked lager, super easy drinking, but it's got that smoked malt in it. You can already smell it. It's like barbecue in glass. Lee is drinking Mad Tree Shade. I have not had a shade yet this year. My favorite summer beer has always been Soul Drifter. I love strawberry and beer, and I love when I'm hanging out at the pool or out in the sun, I like something a little bit lighter. I love Squeeze Box. Don't get me wrong, but there's only so much Squeeze Box you can drink when you're hanging out before it wins. So Soul Drifter, yeah, you can you can knock back a bunch of Soul Drifter floating in a pool. So that's usually my go-to summer beer, and I have it's out now, and I haven't touched it yet. So I'm looking forward to diving into that. I've definitely been making up for lost time as far as consuming beers. I have this huge backlog of stuff that needs drank. So I've been putting back a whole bunch. This weekend obviously was Easter. If you guys didn't know that, if you missed out on that, we did for the first time. They call them an adult Easter egg hunt. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this concept. Everybody is supposed to bring a mixed six-pack. That's a whole other topic. 6 different drinks. So we did just anything. You could bring little bottles of booze. You could bring beer. You could bring wine, whatever. You just bring 6 drinks, give them to your kids. They go run off and hide these beers all over the yard. And then you take off with your 6-pack holder and collect beers. So we did that. I actually And maybe I'll do it for an episode of Prost or something. I thought about as a joke, as a kind of a joke, drinking one of them. I may have picked up a wine cooler in our adult Easter egg hunt, and you know, I don't know when the last time you sat down and really drank a wine cooler was, but um, I so my wife enjoys them a lot. My father-in-law enjoys them a lot for some reason. So there are always lots of wine coolers around. So I've definitely had them, but I can't really say that I've really sat down and drank one and kind of paid attention to it. So maybe I'll do it. I feel bad wasting a Prost episode on one, so maybe I'll do it as like a bonus episode, or maybe I'll do it as a vlog. I don't know. I kind of want to drink it and talk about it. So, speaking of drinking, I need to knock back some of this. It is, man, it's that perfect level of smoke. It's really, really hard to balance that smoke out with the beer. I think it's really easy, and I don't know how much smoked malt it takes to do that, but my understanding is it's not very much. It's easy to overwhelm everything else. So I'm impressed at what Westside has done with this. Super easy drinking, but man, it's just got that. The smoke almost gives it like this body that it wouldn't have otherwise. It's just man, it's a fantastic beer. So good with food too. All right, camera cut out again. You guys, I have been having so many problems with this app trying to get this all to work. Hang on, let me see if I can unplug the camera without stopping talking to you guys. At least audio hasn't cut out. This is why sorry. This is why we need This is why I need some kind of producer that just sits right there off camera, and if something goes wrong, they can run and just fix it really quick. Okay, so Colin's on Periscope, or whatever we're calling it now, Twitter Live, I think, says the Rausch beer is like 44% smoked malt, so it's a bunch. So I don't. It is the perfect amount in my opinion. It is. It's definitely smoky, but it still. I'm not gonna say it's balanced because it's smoky, but it lets the drinkability still be there. I don't. We'll go Listerman, the Friar Bacon. I don't know how much smoked malt they use in that, but it is like chewing on a piece of, I don't know, smoked malt. If anybody has ever done that. It's just, it is a chewy beer. This has just enough to give it that body and that aroma, and still kind of do its own thing. I love it. I love this beer. I think it's perfect for, in my opinion, this time of year. I wish it would have come out a little. I guess you got the smoked Pilsner out now. I just want this with barbecue all the time, and this is the time of year where I really, I smoke stuff, meat. I make that clear. All year round, but when we start getting into warmer days like this where it's 70 degrees and sunny outside, that smoker is going every single weekend. All right, so Colin, if you guys can see the chat on the screen, but Colin says that the The smoked Pilsner that's on right now, that Julia said she was drinking earlier, is about 15% smoked malt versus the smoked Vienna, which they did, was about 25. That's interesting to know. Smoked beer is funny. There's a lot of people that just say it doesn't make sense to make because nobody wants to drink it. And I tell you what, I'm really, really enjoying it. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much if I could. I mean, I guess you can get it all the time. You have to go to that import shelf or really hunt on the craft beer shelf. But if I could get it locally, we'll put it that way. If I could get it locally all the time, I don't know if it would lose some of that. Maybe I don't want to call it novelty because it's a great beer. It's not a novelty, but the novelty of this beer. I don't know if that would get lost if I could get it more readily year round. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that I'm really, really enjoying it. So there's a lot to talk about. Do we want to do labels first and then dive into some of the local news? There's not a lot of labels, a couple good ones, but nothing too exciting. Let's go ahead and jump into it here. So up first, we've got, so if you've been watching social media, Kerrigan released a new sparkling spirit called Poco Loco. This is strawberry jalapeno. 4.75. It kind of falls in line with all the other sparkling spirits, about 5%. It's kind of like a seltzer, depending on how you want to classify it. They're delicious. I haven't tried this one, but I'm sure it's just as delicious as everything else. I'm still waiting on one that is made with their shifu, which is a Chinese spirit. Traditionally, obviously, theirs is not Chinese. It is Fairfax-ese. So there's that. But I want them to do a sparkling spirit that kind of highlights that to get more people to kind of be curious about shifu and dive into it a little bit. I don't know, plums or something like that. We talked about it the last time we were out there to record. We did did several episodes of Drinking with the Gnome, which, well, I'll get to it in a minute. I'll get to that when we start talking about kind of show stuff. Up next, a keg collar from Rheingeist. This is 8-track. They're triple IPA. There's two of the identical keg collars. I can't tell any difference on them. I don't know why they put the two through, but there they are. Triple IPA. The interesting part about this is that it's also coming in cans. I actually just pulled this today, so I haven't even read it. It says a deep cut for our longtime listeners. 8-track is a triple IPA brewed to celebrate our 8th birthday. We're still relatively young, but we've learned a lot of the lessons so far. Here's 8. We could pass on for good measure. Oh, here we go. People make the brewery. Community matters. Quality over quantity. Follow your dreams. Measure twice. Brew once. Take your time. Hops never go out of style. And 8 feels great. So this is their anniversary beer for this year, which is wild to think they've been around for 8 years. I remember when Mount Carmel, when they had their 10th anniversary, how crazy it was to me to think that we had local breweries that had local tap rooms, real local breweries. That comes off wrong too. Not that the places that have been around for longer aren't real, but places that we'll just the fact that we had places that had been around that long just blew my mind, and it's wild to think that we're about to hit this point where the boom, your Mad Tree Rheingeist era and beyond, is starting to get close to that mark is really, really crazy. I think in my head it was always like that 6 to 8 year mark was when you knew that a brewery was going to be around for a long time. And it's exciting to see how many are going to start getting to that mark. So I'm excited for this beer. I like the artwork. Triple IPA, not my go-to style. A 10% beer is not something that I can knock back very many of, but I will definitely be drinking a few of these. That's an absolute promise. So Urban, this is one of their Epicurean releases, peanut butter and blackberry jelly. So I think in my head, Gadget, maybe, I don't know, Gadget's probably closer to 10%, right? Or is it 8.5? Gadget with peanut butter is kind of where I'm imagining this to be. I love the artwork on it too. I don't think they get enough credit for their artwork, all hand painted by one of their owners, Scott Hand, and just absolutely cool. Like this is a great example of it with the bird. Also, of course, in cans, 16 ounces, ale brewed with roasted peanuts and blackberries, 8.5%. Yeah, sounds delicious to me. That's it for the labels. Like I said, not a lot this week. It's more exciting probably if I hold on to the labels till like maybe once a month or something. Just to, I don't know. It's fun rolling them out. You guys got that sneak peek of the Taft's UDF collaboration last week. Timing worked out on that. That was one of the ones that I did sit on for a week because I didn't do a show 2 weeks ago. So you guys kind of got that right before the announcement went out, which reminds me that I probably should write a post about that collaboration. I'm still behind on everything. We could talk about shows coming up, I guess. Let me look at my calendar here and see what's going on. So this week, in theory, I never should probably say where I'm going to be anymore just because sometimes things don't work out. But I have Adina scheduled for next week's Brewcast. I'm also hitting up Cartridge this week because we're going to record an episode of Drinking with the Gnome, maybe some video stuff depending on timing. So look forward to that. I'm going to get Drinking with the Gnome kicking out more frequently. The following week, we are the Rheingeist. That was scheduled for a couple weeks ago, but then I got sick. We got that rescheduled finally. More Drinking with the Gnome and more video stuff because I'm going to the Seltzer Festival. Don't judge me. So yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming up. I'll be out at Common sometime here in the near future. Sons of Toil. So stay tuned for all of that, and hopefully you listened to this week's Brewcast, but hopefully you listened to the redone episode. I was going to check and make sure it popped up on everything, but I don't even have a podcast app on my iPad. That's how terrible I am. I do it all on my phone. So I messed up the audio on the version that I posted, and hopefully got it fixed good enough. It was really loud the second half of the show, so it made it really, really difficult to cut some of that out. If you got the original, in theory, you should be able to delete it now and then re-download it, and it should give you the new one. Or if you just go to the website you can download there or listen there, and it's better. Yeah, it was definitely tough to hear. That was two problems. It was the editing, trying to cut out the sound, the noise in the background, and then I also I uploaded the wrong export. It's my fault for rushing. Holiday weekends, guys. It's difficult. Mark says, if you haven't had Smooge, it is incredible. I haven't tried it yet. I've definitely heard plenty about it. I think in my head right now I'm falling kind of in the same place that the guys on Shift Beers podcast, when they drank it on their show, they talked a lot about it, and they decided that they didn't think it was in the same category as most seltzers are, that it's almost starting to, some of them are getting their own category, the smoothie seltzers, and I'm kind of agreeing with that. So I like the Florida Ice, or not Florida Ice, the Florida Seltzer, whatever they call it, Florida Seltzer, is that what it is? From Untitled Art. It's delicious. It's also $15 for a what is it, a 6-pack or a 4-pack of it? Like it's kind of expensive for seltzer, and there's so much fruit in it becomes a different type of beverage. Nothing against it. I don't know that I consider it the same as seltzer. I'm a huge seltzer drinker, like during the day, like actual like non-alcoholic, regular, normal flavored seltzer. I drink bubbly like you wouldn't believe, and what I like something that's clear, something that is light, something that goes down easy and has a big pop of artificial flavor. And that's what I want in that product. So to me, if you're going to do hard seltzer, I want that with alcohol in it. That's really hard to do, I guess, because nobody wants it. Just nobody, I don't know, nobody wants to drink it. Everybody wants these smoothie this and, fruited that, which are, again, they're good, they're fine, but it's different. It's not the same category. Yeah, I'm curious to see how the festival is. I'm fascinated to see what types of people are there. The different people that are curious to go to a seltzer festival. It should be fun. So I will definitely be there. I will definitely be creating some kind of content. Like I said, I don't know exactly how much I'll do. I'm going to try to do a lot while I'm there because it's a Saturday, so it should be fairly easy to take my time, versus when I'm doing these shows during the week. Sometimes it's a little more difficult. Case in point, this week I've got one where I'm recording, in the afternoon, and then have to be home by like 7:30 because I have another interview that I have to do. So it's wild. So it's called Cincy Seltzer Fest. It is up. There's a link on the blog, I believe, though it might not be easy to get to. I don't know how. Oh yeah, I don't have a category on the main page anymore. But in theory, if you just go to the website, and if you just search for seltzer, it should come up there. Let's see. Yeah, it'll come right up. Just go on the main page, search for seltzer, and gives you a bunch of news about seltzer. I don't know if you guys knew all that was on there or not. And then the first one is Cincy Seltzer Fest. And there should be a link down here to get tickets. Right there. It's super expensive and sold out. unless you have 10 people. So you could get a fouling ticket package. Fouling. How do we pronounce it? So 10 people. It includes 10 sample tickets, 2 12-ounce seltzer can tickets per person, and 2 buckets of seltzers for the table. So, so you get 10 samples, 2 cans, and 2 buckets. I don't know how many are in a bucket. Maybe 5. So another seltzer per person. So for $350, so 35. That's all right. That includes a fouling, however you pronounce it, lane. So I guess you can play while you're at the festival. I'm curious. We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna make some content. Let's put it that way. Speaking of making content, going back to what I was talking about before, this week's show, if you got the bad version, just go onto the website and you can, I can show you that too, since we're in the sharing screen mode here. If you just pull it up, you can listen right here on the website, or underneath of it there's a link that says download. That'll just download a file. Some of the podcast sources, so if you use Apple Podcasts or Google or whoever, may not have the updated file yet. Some of them refresh really strange, and it takes them a while, but the website is always instantaneous. So I use Overcast, and I don't think it has updated yet. So there's that. In theory, when it does update, it should say something about fixed or something like that in the show title, I think. Unless I screwed something up. But if you go to the website, it's the updated version. And you should listen to it because it's Cincy Brewing Company, and they not that their beer was bad. I don't want to say that. I don't think that's fair. But their beer has gotten a lot better than it was when they opened their doors. And they've kind of had a strange journey to get to that point. They did some contract brewing with a wooden cask to kind of hold them over between their original brewer and kind of where they're at now. I think a lot of people have misconceptions about them. So I want people to go out there and actually make up their own mind about, who Cincy Brewing is. Because like I said, the beer's good. They've got a couple lagers that I think are really tasty. They have a coffee stout that is really really tasty. It's not over the top on the coffee, which I think is kind of the move that a lot of people do. So I like that it's different than other coffee stouts. Just get out there, because what somebody has probably told you about them is probably not necessarily true. It's not just Tap and Screw rebranded. It's not Tap and Screw at all, except for the equipment and the tables came from Tap and Screw, but the people it's new owners, and definitely new beer. So Marco says, I appreciate that you got to the bottom of why they unexpectedly closed. For anybody that didn't hear that story, they had a food truck that exploded, a propane tank in the food truck. Really, really crazy stuff there. Scary stuff, considering that there are so many food trucks around and people that are around those food trucks. So, yeah, I'm looking on different podcast apps right now, and I haven't seen it look like it's updated anywhere right now. So it is an absolute pain when you have to go in and change files sometimes. What I tried to do was make it as a whole separate file. So in theory, it would automatically re-download when it refreshes. But that doesn't always work the way you expect it to. Yeah, who knows? Who knows, you guys? Just go to the website. It's a good episode. So, anytime any of you, and I've had plenty of people do this, and it works itself into either video content or Drinking with the Gnome or something. Anytime you have an idea for something you want to see me dive into, just shoot me a message, and I will work it into the schedule somehow. Julia says that the tap and screw sign is still up over here on the west side. Guess it was too much of a hassle for the sports bar that now owns to change it. Yeah, I actually have seen that when I was driving over there. The big sign. This is the original tap and screw location. Is still up, and there's been a different bar there for I don't know how long. Yeah, I'm gonna go steal that sign one of these days and hang it down here in the basement somewhere. It's a great collectible. We could talk a little bit. We're gonna kind of wrap it up here in a minute, but Sonder with their big kind of I don't want to call it a rebranding because it's their brand is still the same. And I did kind of write about this a little bit today. Their brand is the same, so it's not really a rebrand. It's kind of just a refresh or a facelift of their brand and their packaging. And then in addition to that, they I lost my train of thought reading the chat, guys. Sorry. In addition, what was I just talking about? My God. Mark says, Julia, that's awesome. Is the one in Oakley still up? The tap and screw Oakley situation was not their fault completely. Maybe there was a little shred of their fault there for maybe not planning ahead, but it was most definitely the Oakley, not the other businesses in Oakley, we'll say, not being helpful. So, Sonder, sorry. So in addition to the packaging refresh, they refreshed Blanc, which is one of their core beers. First beer they put into packaging. One of what was, definitely my favorite beer when they opened their doors. They refreshed that recipe too, and they made it. And what their press release said was that they made it more sessionable and drinkable, while leaning more into kind of the more traditional white ale kind of personality. I don't think it's necessarily more sessionable than it used to be. I think in my head I like the old recipe better. I think the new one is great. It's delicious. It's definitely, in my head, way more traditional. I'm going to be running around this week trying to find an old can of it and just a single somewhere to drink them side by side, just out of curiosity. Excuse me, because I'm definitely curious to see what all the differences are. And John says that the spot that they wanted is still empty in Oakley. Yes, it's still a great spot, sitting right in the middle of, Oakley Square, pretty much empty. Whereas it could have been a brewery with a restaurant and all kinds of stuff, but whatever. Um, Tap and Screw was maybe doomed already at that point. I don't know. I never like seeing a place close, but sometimes you just kind of see the writing on the wall beforehand, and it you know it's gonna happen. So that's that. We'll go ahead and start. We'll wrap this up, guys, and I'm gonna go tend to whatever is happening upstairs. Hopefully, my kids are both asleep by now. I don't know. You never know. I have to wade through the mess that is the main floor of my house. Complete chaos. It's amazing how you can get everything cleaned and back to normal, and then you turn around for like 10 minutes and come back in the room and it is just destroyed again. Especially on a weekend where you're not, we had all kinds of crap going on this weekend. We had cousins spending the night on Friday, and then Saturday we had Easter stuff with my family, and then Sunday we have Easter stuff with her family. So we're just gone all weekend, just running back and forth and making food and making a mess in the kitchen and then going somewhere else. It's I tell you what. Marco wants to know if I've walked the door at the banks. I have not. I haven't been down to the banks for a while. I really haven't been out a lot in the last month or two, really. Getting out the other night to record at Cincy Brewing Company. I stopped, as you know, Marco, at Sonder beforehand to pick up some of the new Blanc, and that was the first tap room that I've been in a very long time because of my COVID and all that stuff that I got hit with. So, no, I have not been down to the door yet. However, with the weather, I'm definitely have a hankering for some outdoor drinking. Looking at pictures of people walking around down there definitely makes me want to get down there at some point. And some of the beer gardens, I need to get back over to 50 West and hang out on, their beer garden, Fibonacci. We need to get back to the rooftops, Rheingeist and Braxton, and, just need to go drink outdoors. Marco says, let's go. It's way complicated for me. Like I said, I'm just trying to plan everything out. Come up to Dayton this summer to check out Branch and Bone and Yellow Springs Brewery's new barrel room. Yes, I would definitely like to get a Dayton trip scheduled. I will be in Dayton this summer at some point, but I don't know. Don't know how many stops I'm going to be able to make because I probably have to drive home afterwards. So, but I might do a Branch and Bone stop when I go up there. We'll see. I'm going up there, so Zane Lamprey is coming into town to do coming into the area to do a couple shows. He's doing Dayton, Cincinnati, Columbus, Louisville, kind of that little area there. And so I'm definitely doing Cincinnati, and I'm definitely doing Dayton. But the Dayton one, I have to drive myself up and drive myself back, so not going to be pounding a lot of beers that night. Cincinnati, we'll see. We'll see if I might be able to get a driver out of that, so be able to drink a little bit more. You can't go see Zane Lamprey without putting back a few beers. So stay tuned for that stuff too. That he's coming in September, working on some stuff with that. So stay tuned. So as always, thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. For all of you who support this show on Patreon, you can go to thegnarlygnome.com/support. By the way, if you want to do that, it helps so much. and I appreciate you very much for the support. I have, if you are one of the $10 level supporters, I've got a batch of merch coming in right now, or I mean, not right now. It's on its way. Actually, several batches of merch because of the different places I have to order them from. So you should have some stuff coming to your doorstep in the very near future. For those of you who have been supporters at that level for a while, you'll obviously get it first, and then so there are a couple of the newer people there. You probably, it'll be warmer outside, maybe June or so. You should be getting a nice little package of stuff, some fun things. Nothing new though, nothing that isn't on the store right now. As of right now, I've been looking at a couple things that I think could be fun. But with all that stuff, or not with all of it, but with a lot of that stuff, you got to put in a big freaking order of stuff. So it's a big outpouring of money. So it all depends on how the next month or so goes. So thank you for your support. That's the important part. And if you aren't able to support on Patreon, just tell somebody about the show, because that helps just as much as monetary support does. Just help all this keep growing, help me keep creating content for you guys, because the more time I'm able to put into this, the more stuff I get to create, and the more opportunities for fun stuff for you guys we will have. So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. I just killed my camera again. I swear. I promise I'll get this fixed by next week. Jeez. Oh, Lord. We'll figure out what's going on with it. Thanks, guys.